welcome back to Murder Therapy with Doll Talk and Cousin Ashley.
Heidi Ho.
I thought you were saying Heidi like our
Oh,
cousin. Well, she's not your cousin; she's your sister. But thought you meant yeah. Never mind. Anywho,
we should have her on one time. You should see us three together. We're ridiculous.
I don't know. I love Heidi. It would be fantastic. I don't
It
know that
would.
we'd finish the episode. I'd have to be like, well, we have to.
Okay, we've been on here laughing
Heidi's
for 3 hours.
Yes, Heidi's great though. She is. Yeah. I have lots of people, that we've talked about throughout our episodes.
Yeah.
Aunt Sue. I would love to have Aunt Sue on here. I would love to have my mother on here.
Oh, God. Sorry, I was
That
watching
would be
our clock.
fantastic. I would love to have them on an episode together.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You all everybody knows Nathan. Everybody knows Ryan, even though he just said,
He did
I'm not
just
going to
say.
talk about what we were talking. Yes. He said, no one knows who I am. And I'm like, no, they do know you because he is the producer. So please make sure you drop comments on how much you love the producer and how we value him because without him,
We are
we wouldn't
nothing.
exist.
Yeah.
We really truly
He's
are.
he's IT. He's a producer. He is our, what do you call a person that makes like images and graphic? He's our graphic
He's
designer.
like our graphic designer. He's literally like maybe eventually murder therapy will expand even more. I don't know. But he's very essential.
Yes.
He does a lot more than my husband does. My husband says he's security, and I have still yet to figure out where that plugs in.
I will say Ryan did a lot more at the beginning because Jody and I had no idea what we were doing. And we broke
And we
everything we
still don't know what
touched.
we're doing.
But we don't break everything we touch now. We've literally gotten to the
Yeah,
point where we've had so many technical issues that like now our settings are saved. We
hmm
literally log on, do a quick sound check, and we're recording. Like it's so nice.
we're getting there.
Yeah, I've learned how to put our filter on by myself week to week. Ryan makes them, but I put them on without
He
him.
does.
Yeah,
He does. And he's very creative and
I
I
am
am
not.
so grateful for him. I didn't get the creative
Listen,
genes. Like, have you ever noticed that we have a lot of artists in our family? Mom's an artist, your mother's an artist, our uncle is an artist. My brother literally went to school for graphic design. He's an artist. And I played Pictionary with my patients one time, and they told me to never play Pictionary with them ever again. The mentally ill told me I'm not allowed to play Pictionary with them ever again.
oh, it's okay. I'll
Yes,
play Pictionary with you.
thanks. I draw a very terrible stick man, but
I can sing, but I can't. I can write like it's mid.
she can sing. That's true. I can't sing. I can't dance. The only gene I got was I talk to dead people. Like I see it. That's the
But
only
you
thing I
got the
got.
cooler thing because I mean, because I still got I'm an empath, hardcore empath, which we've talked about. But yeah, I didn't get something cool like that. But I
It's a
do.
blessing and a curse all at the same time.
But other than that, I'm very I can't think outside the box. That's why I can't be artsy. That's like my son's great at it, my husband's great at it. I just can't think out the box. I'm really black or white in most of my personality. Like give me a list of rules, bing bing boom, I will knock that out. Like but
Go
you asked me to get off the list and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
go study psychology like I have, and it will teach you to think outside the box because we literally have to be three steps ahead of our patients.
Ugh, I don't know how you do it.
It's like
Well, it's just
I love my job.
I'm too ditzy. That's what it is. Like can oh my god,
You're not
yesterday.
ditzy.
Listen, we all are. But yesterday was like my stupid day. First of all, nobody ever
I
worked
saw your message.
yeah, everybody and it
Your
wasn't
message, I mean
bad.
your status.
It
Yeah.
was so it's just everything I did was stuff that shouldn't happen if I just stopped and took a deep breath or took my time and thought it through. But it was so bad. Like first of all, yesterday I had I work at a bank. So the first, the third, the fifth, please know that that is the worst time to work at a bank because people pay their
Okay.
rents through wires because I'm in the wire room. People pay their rents. People's online limitations reset for the month, so now
Right.
they're like boom, 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 online wires. People are paying all kinds of like monthly bills that are due at the first of the month. So it gets crazy. Even in like the main customer service area, it's really crazy because Social Security and all that stuff hits those 3 days. And so yesterday was really, really crazy, on top of it being a Monday. And
Right.
the day went by fine. I would do stupid stuff, but that's every day and I could go back and fix it. So then I get through my day. I leave at 4:30 because I have a pulmonary functionality test, to examine deeper into my asthma. So I get there, drive all the way there. It's like 15 minutes, next city over. And she goes to shut the door and she's like staring at my stuff. And she goes, "Do you see what I see?" And I'm like, "What?" And she was like, "You don't see it?" And I was like, "No." Like, and she was looking at my Diet Coke, and apparently she did tell me to not drink caffeine the whole day.
Oh.
So I couldn't do it. I was so mad. So mad. She had to reschedule me.
So, you know that our grandfather. So all right, you know how stubborn Papa was?
Oh, majorly.
Yes. So in the last like couple years of his life, like he would wait until like the week of, not even the week of, like a day before he would have to have these like procedures and stuff done, and like call mom and be like, "Kim, I need you to take off work tomorrow." And
Oh
she's
my
like,
God.
"Tomorrow?" Like, yes, like literally. I have a doctor's appointment in Salem because our grandfather was military vet, so he would go to the VA. So he apparently was supposed to have some procedure. I don't know what it was done. And mom goes and picks him up at like 3:30 in the morning. He's got to be there at like 6 or something. They're halfway, more than halfway there. And he tells mom, "I drank some coffee and I had this to eat." And mom's like,
Oh
"Then dad,
no.
they're not going to do the procedure." And he's like, "I'm not going to tell them." And of course he ended up having to tell them. Mom's like, "I'm going to." So it got rescheduled.
I
What
couldn't
made me
even
think
lie. I
about
took the evidence in and it was half drank and I had drank coffee. I had pop throughout the day. Like it was mad. So then I come home, I'm already irritated because I just wasted that time. And Ryan, it must have been in the air because Ryan was making taco salad. It was quick and easy since I had that appointment. And Ryan goes to make it and I was like, "Well, where are the Doritos?" And he goes, "Damn it." And he didn't get the Doritos. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll go get it." So I go to get the credit card out of his wallet and I'm looking for silver because that's the color of our credit card. And we have two that are silver. And I didn't look at which one it was. I get all the way to Kroger and
Oh,
you got to go like onto the highway and down to the next exit. And I realized I grabbed the wrong card. And I was so mad. So then I had to go all the way back home, grab that card, and I was like, "Fuck it. I'm going to the gas station and paying their outrageous amount for a bag of Doritos."
oh my God.
Yeah, it was, so I was like, "I'm done. I'm going to bed." I went to bed at 8 o'clock. Jeez, everybody get that much sleep because it was fantastic. But I had to wake up because
Well,
she rescheduled me for 6 o'clock and I have to be there 15 minutes before. So I have been, I hate getting up.
oh,
I'm not a morning person, you guys. I'm not.
she is not.
No.
I am. I've always been a morning person, but you know what? I love that you talked about how using your head is very important. Thinking
Yes.
is important. Because that's kind of what our case pertains to
Oh.
today. I know, and she had no idea because
No,
she is not
I didn't.
familiar with Kara Robinson.
I
So we
gave
are
the
covering.
segue and didn't even know it.
She did. You did. Congratulations. This is a good
Thanks.
example of how you really should think things through. And we'll talk more about that.
Don't be
okay?
Ashley.
So, don't. Yeah, when you hear this, you're going to be like, "Yeah, I would have died." But
Oh
like,
my.
she'd be like, "I'd be dead." Yes. So,
I'm sorry. Okay.
we are covering the Kara Robinson story. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about Kara Robinson real quick. Now, but wait, hold on. Before I dive into this, trigger warning. Ashley can't escape. She has to listen. But if sexual assault bothers you, which I mean it should anyway. But if you are triggered by sexual assault, just so you know, we are going to be talking about that throughout the case. I will do my best to kind of give you a trigger warning beforehand. It's not super like gruesome like some of the other cases that we've covered, but I just want you all to be aware that there is talk of sexual assault. Okay, just an FYI. But we're gonna talk about Kara Robinson. Okay. So she was born September 1986 to Deborah Johnson and Ron Robinson. Okay.
She's beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, she's absolutely beautiful. Yes. Um, she spent her time growing up in Columbia, South Carolina, which is where we're traveling to. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of background information, like as far as like how she did in school or anything like that. I do know that her mother did say that she was a really affectionate girl. Like she enjoyed hugs. She was very loving, you know, kind-hearted. But that's really all I really have about her. I do know at the time of this, she did have a boyfriend. She was at a friend's house. We're going to the early afternoon of June 24th, 2002. So she's 15 years old at this point, okay?
Okay.
And she's hanging out with her friend. They had plans to go to the lake. I guess they were going to meet up with some other friends. Her boyfriend was going to be there. She's staying the night at her friend's house, so she's not at her own home, but the mother of her friend had, I guess, evidently said some things needed to be done around the home before they went to the lake. Okay. So they're running behind. Her friend goes to take a shower. Part of the chores was they needed to water the plants that was outside. Okay. Take care of the plants outside. So Kara's like, I'll go take care of that while you go shower and stuff. And she talks about being, I know, she's an awesome friend. Everybody should have a Kara. I can't keep plants alive, so kudos to her.
No.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. Well, Kara talks about she noticed that there was a green Pontiac Trans Am that kept kind of going by, driving slow. She didn't think anything of it. She's just doing her thing. This Pontiac Trans Am ends up showing back up and pulls into the driveway of her friend's house. So she thinks that this is probably somebody that may know them. They're popping in to say hi, so on and so forth. He approaches her. This man gets out of the car. He looks like he's in his late 30s. He's wearing jeans, a button-down shirt, and a baseball cap. He looks pretty normal.
Yeah, I'd say.
He's kind of a distance away from her. And he has what looks to be magazines in his hands. Okay. And he comes up and he's like, "Hey, are your parents home?" And she's like, "Well, this isn't my house. I'm actually at my friend's house." And he goes, "Oh, okay. Is your friend's mother home?" And she's like, "No, they're not here." And he said, "Well, if I give you these, can you give them to the parents? I'm giving these like magazines out in the neighborhood." And she's like, "Sure." And she goes to get the magazines, and she said an instant red flag hit right there.
Oh, man.
And then a gun was applied to her neck,
and
the magazines was kind of blocking it. And he said, "If you scream, I will shoot you. Come with me."
Okay, I'm getting a deja vu vibe. I feel like I may have heard this, but I'm not 100. So please continue. I mean, regardless, continue. But I'm intrigued because I'm like, is this the same one?
It may possibly be. Potentially. So, all right. He starts leading her to the car. There was a neighbor next door that was in the backyard, but they seen her get in this Pontiac Trans Am, but it looked willingly. Of course it was willingly because they can't see. She has a gun pressed to her neck.
Yeah.
So her mind, and she talks about this, she said, "I immediately went to just comply. Don't scream. Don't do anything. Just do what they say to do."
Yeah.
So when they get to the vehicle, in the back seat of the car, there's this huge storage container. And it took up the entire back seat, and he says, "Get in the storage container."
Oh,
so she gets in there. She's like in fetal position. He doesn't completely enclose it, but he kind of loosely put the lid on it. And the next thing you know, she said, the car gets put in reverse, and we're going.
So she could feel it.
Could you imagine? Yeah, she could feel the car moving.
No, oh my God, no.
Yeah. So she said she's not entirely sure where this came from. In her mind, she literally said she could hear a voice say, "Do what he says, survive, escape." That's literally
Absolutely.
on replay in her mind. Okay. She's only 15 years old. I want you to keep that in mind. 15 years old.
A baby.
So she starts observing in the container and she memorized the serial number of the container.
Wow.
And as they're driving, she's counting turns. Every time they'd make a turn, she would count, and she memorized that.
Impressive.
I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
able to do that. I would have been in fucking freak out mode. I mean, yeah, she's so they end up arriving to this apartment complex. He literally gets the container with her in it and lugs it into the apartment. He had her gagged. Did stop at some point. Forgot to mention that, and he gagged her and
Yeah.
kind of tied her up.
Oh my God.
That way she doesn't make any noise. And of course, she says the moment, like, when he gets her out of that container, she knew why she was there at that apartment. She said, "I know exactly what his intentions were for me." Um, she ended up, of course, all right, so trigger warning. She was sexually assaulted, okay, repetitively.
Oh my gosh.
He made her smoke marijuana.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he made her smoke marijuana. And he would sexually assault her some more. Okay. I mean, he was, yeah. She did mention there was a point that she was near the gun that he had, and it kind of went through her mind, do I grab this gun and shoot him? And then she felt like, if I do that, I'll lose that fight. Now's not the time.
Yeah. I mean,
Now's not the time.
yeah. You got to make sure it is 100% effective if you're going to make a move.
So her survival became, I'm going to be like his friend. And she actually would engage in conversation with him.
Interesting move.
Yes, it was a very interesting move on her part. And he would respond. She asked him questions about, like, work, like if he went to college, if he was in the military, and he answered those questions.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Can I help you with something here?" And he's like, "Sure. Sure." So she swept his kitchen, and when she was doing that, she memorized magnets that he had on his fridge, and she happened to notice he had a business card on that refrigerator with a dentist. He had an appointment for
Wow.
She also noticed that he had animals. He seemed to really like animals, so she kind of talked to him about the animals and the birds, and if one was his favorite. You know, she just really took.
Oh, she's smart as hell.
She's very fucking smart.
Yeah.
She's very fucking smart. So, um, she discovered he had been in the United States Navy. Okay, she was able to kind of correlate that at some point he'd been in the Navy. So he ended up drugging her more, okay? And he handcuffed her and kind of roped her to his bed, okay?
Oh,
So in the early morning hours of the following day, it's about dawn at this point, she wakes up. He's sound asleep. And she says those words went through her head again, like, you know, survive, escape. And she's like, now's the time.
oh man.
Yes, now's the time. Yeah. So she managed to get unrestrained.
I was going to say, she's still tied to the bed?
She's still tied to the bed.
Holy
She's handcuffed.
cow.
She managed to get out. I think she still had like a handcuff on her arm. Okay. She managed to get out, not wake him up,
Holy.
get out of that apartment and book it. She flagged down a car. I know people are probably like, well, what? This is like the quickest thing ever. Don't worry. Because this is about to take a huge twist.
You literally read my mind. I was like, oh my God, like we're not even at 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, she flags down a car and she says, "My name is Kara Robinson. I have been kidnapped. I just escaped that apartment and I need you to take me to the police." And they did. Okay.
Okay.
So here she comes in this police station. And she's got her composure pretty well together for someone that's been abducted. And she goes in and she tells the
But she's
sheriff's
got
department, she's
a
like,
mission. She's got all this
she
stuff.
memorized.
Yeah.
She told them the serial number of the container. She told them the type of car, the color it was. She told them, I know he was in the Navy. He had a dentist appointment at this dentist on this upcoming date. If he's in this apartment complex, all the things, okay? Which is incredible. Of course, she needs medical attention, right? Yeah. She's been gone for 18 hours, okay?
Yeah.
So they're compiling a list of suspects, okay? So she's in the hospital. They end up showing her like a photo lineup, and in this photo lineup is her abductor.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And this is her photo. Yes. So now we are going to meet Richard Mark Edward Evanet, okay? Who was born on July the 29th, 1963, okay? Now, he was also born in Columbia, South Carolina. He had two siblings, two sisters. They were born 1971 and 1968. Apparently, his family was super dysfunctional. Okay.
Aren't they all?
Yes. Yeah, usually people like him, they are. His parents separated when he was a baby. I guess they got back together, and then they ended up splitting up again when he was 12 and divorcing. They were officially divorced in 1985. Now, his father was a chronic alcoholic and would like drink himself to the point that he passed out.
Holy shit. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. He also was extremely verbally abusive with his family. He would belittle them. He would call them morons and stupid. And I mean, he just was overall not a very good person. Trigger warning, animal cruelty.
No.
He drowned Richard's dog in front of him when he was only 6 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. And then turned around and attempted to drown his son.
What?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now,
Dad of the year.
Richard had been married a few times. And his ex-wives, like later on when all of this comes out, because obviously, we can tell Richard's going to turn out to be a clusterfuck, obviously. They had said that at night that he would have nightmares about his dad. Like, it evidently really fucked with him. Doesn't make it okay to abduct children, dickwad, but yeah. So he ended up graduating high school in 1980. He worked briefly as a manager for a Jiffy Lube. And this is when he ended up joining the United States Navy. Okay.
And this is her abductor.
This is the abductor.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So he served as a sonar technician. And then he received a Good Conduct Medal before being honorably discharged after 8 years of service. So he was in the military for a significant amount of time.
Okay. And you said he's a Navy soldier?
Yes, he was in the Navy. Mm-hmm. Now, he would steadily work at businesses that sold compressors and grinding equipment. He ended up getting a divorce, and he wasn't able to keep up bills, so he had to file bankruptcy in 1997. It
happens.
His house foreclosed in 1999 because he actually kind of looked into, I guess, opening up his own like business kind of thing, and it didn't succeed. So he lost his home, and that sucks. But again, doesn't excuse the shit that we're about to learn about him. January 3rd, 1987. Trigger warning. Richard ends up pulling up beside this woman named Kelly Ballard. Oh, well, I shouldn't say woman. She was a teenager. She was 15 years old. This was in Jacksonville, Florida. He was down there. He ended up exposing himself to her, proceeded to masturbate.
Oh my God.
And she was walking her 3-year-old sister down the sidewalk. A 3-year-old. Yes.
Ew.
I know.
Ew. So he's
the
got a thing for
following
15. That's his number.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
he likes teenagers, yes. So the very following day, um, Kelly happened to notice that he was following her. He had been stalking her.
Sounds about right.
She was with her mother, at the mall. They see his car in the parking lot. They immediately called the police because they memorized the license plate number. And
Nice.
he ended up being arrested. Um, However, he was only given 3 years of probation.
You know.
Yes,
That's so
yes.
ridiculous. You gotta
Um,
commit a terrible crime and fuck somebody up.
are you ready? So Richard's response when police go and approach him and they're like, "Yeah, it's not appropriate to be exposing yourself to children, you ignorant fuck." His response was he had a problem masturbating in front of girls.
Was that like his excuse to like say he
Yeah.
didn't do it?
Well, no, he didn't disagree that he did it. He's just like, well, I'm sorry. I have this problem that I just do that in front of girls.
Oh, that he does. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's called your bedroom, sir. A private fucking setting. No one wants to watch that.
The
Okay?
shower, the
Yeah.
bathroom. I mean,
Yes. Yeah. He's a wonderful piece of work. Okay, so July 6th, 1988, okay, a year later, there was a 12-year-old named Sarah Margaret Cherry.
12?
Okay. 12.
My God, gross.
Yeah. Yeah, 12. He's not a very good person.
No.
She was abducted while babysitting at a home in a rural part of Baldwin, Maine. We kind of learned he goes a little bit all over the East Coast. Okay.
Why she was babysitting,
Now,
so now there's children left unattended? On
yes.
top of. Oh, God.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Okay. So, before you draw a conclusion, several days later, her body was found hidden in a wooden area. Trigger warning. She was bound with rope. She had been sexually assaulted with sticks. She was stabbed and she had been strangled with a scarf.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So the rope thing is
Now,
a trend, and I mean, it's screaming. There's plenty of people that use ropes, but like,
well,
Navy men know
here's
their
the thing.
knots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So, March 18th, 1989, Dennis DeShane, I'm probably not saying his last name correctly, ended up getting convicted for this murder.
So somebody
He
else
has
took the
filed
blame?
numerous appeals, okay? He's filed numerous appeals, stating his innocence, and it's kind of been a controversial thing with him. But there is a belief, which we're about to get further down into, that Richard is probably associated with this, and he's probably responsible for it. I should have dug a little bit deeper into Dennis DeShane, but I didn't because my big focus was getting everything on Dickwad that we're talking about.
How
So,
dare you?
yes. Now, Richard served as the sonar technician aboard the USS Colsich, which was based out of Portland, Maine from May 8th to 1988 to May 31st of 1989. So he was in Maine at the same time that this happened. Food
He
for
did it.
thought. Yeah, so he's doing that. So there is somebody, she's the Deidre Enright, who is the founder of the University of Virginia Law School's Innocence Project. She's linked Cherry's murder to Richard. She believes that there's a lot of characteristics that we're about to, cover, and that he's responsible for that. Even going to like the cars and stuff that was, yeah. Anywho, so 7:30 a.m. on March the 2nd, 1996, 25-year-old Alicia Showalter Reynolds had left her Baltimore, Maryland residence to drive to Charlottesville, Virginia. Okay. At 6 p.m., Alicia's car was found abandoned along a highway near Culpeper, Virginia. Witnesses later came forward to police saying that they had seen Alicia along Route 29 talking to a man with a blue pickup truck on the side of the road. Her body was discovered in a wooded area about 15 miles where her car had been located at. Um, the cause of death has not been released, but investigators believe it's very well possible that she also, that she had to have been murdered. You get what I'm
So
saying? But they never they never said like what the ultimate cause of death was.
why wouldn't they release the cause of death?
Maybe because it's considered a cold case.
Mm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Don't worry, we'll
Can
dive
the,
further into
can the
it.
families request that that stuff not be released?
I think so.
Or are they
I think,
considered state and federal documents?
I mean, I guess you could ask that they not release that. I think this is because it's a cold case.
Okay. That could be.
Yeah. Yeah. So on September 22nd, 1996, they found burned remains of a 20-year-old Anne Carolyn McDaniel. Um, this was close to where Reynolds' body was found, the same body that they didn't release like the death details of.
Mm-hmm.
Now McDaniel, Miss Anne Carolyn, this breaks my heart. She had cerebral palsy.
Oh,
Uh
full blown.
huh. Yes, she lived in a group home. She was last seen leaving her group home.
She was in a chair.
Huh?
Was she in a chair?
I don't think I'm not sure she was in a chair or not. I just know she did have cerebral palsy. She was in an adult group home for the mentally and physically ill. And she had left there and she was hitchhiking along Route 29. And authorities 100% believe that Richard is responsible for her death. Yeah,
Oh my
because
God. Where does this man draw the line? Like,
hey, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's a really
you
cruel
don't even have
person.
one little inkling of a moral or like,
Yeah. So on September 9th, 1996, he ended up abducting 16-year-old Sophia Marlene Silva from her home in Spotsylvania County, Virginia.
oh Christ.
This was right after she had returned from school near Lorella Park. She was last seen doing her homework on her front steps and was taken without any apparent struggle. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, her remains were found a month later in Birchwood Creek off of State Route 3 in King George County.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
She was wrapped in a white cover, and trigger warning, her pubic hair had been shaved off.
So he doesn't have. I mean, it's weird because he does something different almost every time, other than the essay. Wow.
He does. On May 1st, 1997, he then abducted sisters. He abducted both of them. Krista Michelle Lisk, who was 15, and Catherine Nicole Lisk, who was 12 years old. They were in their front lawn in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. They were just kind of, I guess they were playing. I'm not entirely sure what they were doing. They had got off the school bus, excuse me. They had just got off the school bus. Their father had come from home from work and had seen that they weren't anywhere to be found.
Jeez.
Yeah, her Kristen's book bag was lying discovered in the front yard.
Oh.
Yes. Trigger warning, I told you. He did assault both of them. He strangled the sisters and dumped their bodies in the South Anna River. Their remains were found 5 days later.
Holy cow.
So, now we're going to fast forward back to Kara, okay? I've gave you this whole history. Kara doesn't know any of this. She didn't even know his name. She just knew that this man pulled up in a Pontiac Trans Am and had abducted her. She tells officers, was able to identify that's the guy, okay? So officers immediately go to the apartment. They're able to locate the apartment. They bust in. He's gone.
So
He's
this
nowhere
isn't
to be
something that's
found.
making news
It did.
to where
It
maybe she
did.
just didn't watch it. Like,
What do you, well, at the time, there was headlines and stuff about these. They didn't know that he was responsible for it until
oh,
Kara.
that
You
makes
get what I'm?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the reason that they're able to link him to this is because when the police bust into the apartment, they see he's disappeared. He's on the run. Obviously, he knows that he knows his time's coming to very limited. They do a search in the apartment. They find this like locked case and they bust into it. They find trophies and there is clippings from newspaper articles all
Hmm.
over the East Coast for cold cases. Why do you have those? Why would anyone have those? There's handcuffs,
Shit I
there's like
got away
rope,
with.
there's yes,
Yeah.
trophies. Yes.
Wow.
All in this and they're like Kara, it's like in that moment they knew and the cops talk about this. They're like she didn't just escape an abductor, she escaped a serial killer.
Wow.
Yes, and she doesn't know
Brilliantly.
this yet.
Brilliantly.
Brilliantly.
Like,
She outsmarted at 15 years old a man who had
insane.
been like all over the East Coast killing young women. And apparently, during her 18 hours that she was there, he kept making like he was going to let her go. Well, you and I both know I'm sure he was going to let her go into the afterlife, but he
Mm-hmm.
had no ambitions of actually letting her go freely.
Yeah.
And again, she doesn't know any of this yet. She has no idea. She just thinks that, hell yeah, I got away. I'm sure she probably thought he's eventually going to kill me. But I think it settles a lot different to know I escaped somebody
Oh my
that
God.
did very terrible things to lots of other young women.
I think that would
So
mentally mess with me. I really do.
I feel like it would mentally fuck with me too. I
Yeah.
really do. I really
The
100% do.
thought
So
of how
she's in
bad
the
it could have been.
hospital. She gets out of the hospital. Her mom has come and got her. And she talks about she didn't want people to look at her like a victim. She didn't want a pity party at all. However, her mom does talk about, she's like, Kara was a really affectionate person. She was very loving. She was very hugging. And that's not the Kara that came back. And I'm
Oh
sure,
no.
I'm sure, she's different.
Yeah.
So they have to tell Kara, we don't know where he's at.
Oh fuck.
He has fled. He has fled. So they did give her police around her home. Like her home is surrounded because we have to keep Kara safe,
Yeah.
right? We have to keep the family safe. Now, on June 27th, 2002, Richard called his sister Jennifer and he says to her on the phone that he has committed way more crimes than he can even remember.
Jesus.
Yes.
He's telling
He
his sister
tells
this.
Yes, he's telling like
Oh.
she owes him anything,
Yeah.
anything at all. So she tells, he tells her to meet him at the IHOP in Jacksonville, Florida.
Not
That
the
they need to
IHOP.
meet there. Yes, the IHOP. I know it makes me not ever want to go to IHOP again. Um, and I'm sure that's kind of like put her in a difficult spot because this is her brother. This is the guy she grew up with, right? And I'm sure
You
she
never
loves
know what
him
you
and cares
do,
about him.
remember?
Right, right. We don't know what you're going to do in that predicament, right? So he's told her, I have done something. I need to meet you. I'm down, I'm here in Florida. I've fled South Carolina. Like, meet me at the ha ha ha. So what do you think that she does?
Meets him?
She called the police.
Stop. His sister called the police?
His sister called
What?
the police. Yes. I know we don't normally hear that. Um, she called the police and turned him in, and she said, he's here in Florida. This is where I live. He wants me to meet him at the High Hop. Um, I don't know if you want to go there. Like, I don't know how you want this to play out, but this is where he's at. I don't.
Did he
I
already
don't even think
confess
she
everything
really.
to her, or was he there to tell her what he did?
I think he was going to tell her what he had done. I don't think that he had said, this is what I've done. I think I don't know that he was like, I abducted this girl and she got away. I don't think he told her that. I think he was just, I'm on the run. This is what has happened.
Okay, I was like, what gave her the inkling to call the police? Okay, so she at least knew
Yes.
he was in trouble legally.
She knew he was in trouble and she knew
Okay.
he was on the run. I don't know that he necessarily broke it down to her that, hey, guess what? I'm a creepy child molester and I go pick up people, and put them in totes in the back of my fucking Trans Am. I don't think he told her all that, but
Listen, sister,
so she
I'm a
calls
sick
police.
fuck and I need you.
Yes, I'm terrible. Yes. So she calls police. She tells police this is where he's at. They end up showing up there. They surround him
Damn.
and he takes off.
Shut
So
up.
He takes off and he ends up, they had canines. So they released the canines. They're, and
Get him.
let me tell you something right now. Police canines don't fuck around. You're not to touch those dogs. They're like, they train them on our grounds sometimes, in one of the buildings we don't use. And they send out emails to us to let us know, because you do not fuck around with police canines. They will fuck your world up. Okay. Yeah. So after one of the police dogs was released, Richard ended up pulling out his own gun and he shot himself and killed himself. Yes. I know. Yes.
I'm weak. Why? What?
I know.
Pussy way out.
Oh, yeah.
You just wreaked havoc all over the East Coast and ruined and destroyed so many lives.
And yeah, he took the coward way out. So inside that apartment, remember I told you they found clippings and stuff, just to kind of give you an insight. In that, it was like a Foot Locker that was locked up. They found newspaper clippings about all those unsolved murders, about those girls that we talked about earlier. And that's why they're like, I'm pretty certain that he is correlated with, the one that they didn't release the details of her death. This Sophia Silva and the sisters, Katie and Kristen Lisk, there was the clippings about that. Why would you have that if you had nothing to do with that, right?
They're from all over, too. Like, why? They're not local to you.
They those all had gone missing in the Spotsylvania County, Virginia, more than 5 years before Kara was abducted.
Oh my God, he was at it for that long.
Yes. So, police have interviewed with People Magazine, since then, and they talk about, they're like, you really don't care how tough of a cop you are when you see something like that. Like, all these cases had happened. They had no idea of any of this until this young girl, a 15-year-old, solved this. That's huge.
That, I honestly, God, give that girl a job. Like, I hope she went into something like that, because that's some skill. That's a lot of information to intake and pack away, and in the middle of something so traumatic as well, to where, like, most of our brains would, like, completely go in panic. Like, oh, what do I do? I don't, like, and she was just like, boom, 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 boom. That's impressive.
Well, she ended up taking a part-time job with the police.
Yeah.
She has since then got her bachelor's degree in psychology. She is married now. She has children of her own, and she is an advocate for children victims. And she talks about, again, she doesn't like to be, don't pity her. She doesn't want to be looked at in a weak manner.
No, she's a boss-ass bitch. Let's go.
Fuck yeah, she is. Get it, fucking Kara Robinson.
She's impressive. I'm impressed.
Yes. So, I would imagine in the back of her mind, I don't know how I would have responded if police came to me and they said, not only did you escape an abductor, you escaped a serial killer. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine being told that
No.
you just broke these unsolved crimes in Virginia and Maine and Maryland that we knew nothing, we didn't think we'd get answers to.
She brought so
And
much peace. Yeah.
yes, yes,
God damn, that's amazing. That's
yes, I
amazing.
knew you would like that one. But
Yeah.
that's the Kara Robinson story.
Oh, I
And
love it.
she's wrote a book. She's incredible. I don't think that she doesn't really talk a whole lot about what happened in those
Sure.
18 hours. And I respect that. 100, we
She
don't need to
doesn't
know
need
the
to
nitty
harp on
gritty
the past.
details.
She
She
knows
doesn't need
that
to.
I'm here for everybody else and to give my insight and lift people up. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to, so psychology for a second. Your brain does not quit growing until you're 25 years old.
Oh, I
Okay.
felt it stop.
She was abducted by a 30-year-old man who was in the Navy and outsmarted him.
Fuck yeah.
That took skills. And she says they know, apparently, the day that she was abducted, it just so happened she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He had
Yeah.
not been stalking her. He had approached other little girls in that same neighborhood that day and had not been successful. And she just happened to be out there helping her friend.
He needed his fix.
But you know what? If the friend would have been out there too, he probably would have took both of them.
And I have to say, it would have been way different, I think, if it would have been somebody else or both of them, because she then would have had to think about two people, or she would have had another person who's not reacting the same way as her.
I don't know that they would have made it.
No, yeah, and like she could have been. I don't want to say how she would have been, but her friend would have been maybe the panicky type, and then that clogs her brain, and like, okay, shh, I'm trying to think. Like I just don't think it would have been the same.
You should watch. They did make a movie about this, the Kara Robinson story. It's a very good movie.
Maybe that's why it sounds so familiar.
Yeah. Now there is another case very, very similar to this. Another little girl that escaped a serial killer, Lisa
It wasn't.
McVeigh.
It wasn't the escaping. It was the way he pulled up in the driveway while she was at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
What was?
And I don't think. You look at it, obviously, I've talked about stranger danger to my kids, and it's worse now, I think, than when we were children.
Yeah.
If someone would have pulled up in our driveway here and been like, hey, I have these magazines, I wouldn't have thought anything about it.
I don't know. I feel like it's hard. I don't want to say that we're all this way, but it's a millennial thing. Like somebody knocks on my door and it's not expected, I freeze. I'm terrified to
freeze.
I like panic, like
freeze.
who's here? Like, and then I get scared.
here?
I get so scared.
You get scared?
And nowadays we all have cameras. We can just pull up the cameras. We don't even have to open the door anymore. And that is a blessing in itself, because how many times have people waited for somebody to open the door and just burst in? Or, it's just, we're lucky. But I heard a lot of millennials, they say, are like that, where like somebody knocks on the door and they're like hunching down on their couch, like, I'm not here.
I'm not here.
I'm not
You're not here. You're not welcome here.
If you're
So
unexpected, I will be that way.
Do you have questions for the girls?
I do. Yes.
I love it. You're like, yes. I know. I do too. I hate that he killed himself. Like, I want you to suffer for the things and the pains that you induced on so many people. You know what I mean? Like, he
such
took
a coward way out. Yeah.
He did. Okay. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, girls. Hey, can we ask you questions about the Kara Robinson case? Yes. Did you hear that? Yes. You want to answer? Did you hear that? Do you want an answer?
Yeah. Okay. Would the outcome have been different had her and her friend been abducted?
Yeah. So, would the outcome have been different? Would the outcome have been different if her and her friend would have been abducted? I swear at first I thought that it said better. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Ladies, would the outcome have been different had her and the friend been abducted? Yes.
I heard that. Okay. Would it have been better?
Would it have been better?
Yeah.
I
There's
don't
so
think
much.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said no.
At first, I thought I heard no in a deeper man voice, and then I heard like yes, and then but it was like three at once, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a no. Just so, do you think if Tara wouldn't have escaped, would she have been murdered? Yes.
Yes, I heard that. Well, did that stupid motherfucking coward end up in the place he deserves to be?
Yeah, is Richard living his best life in the afterlife?
Getting pineapples every day?
No, that was really clear. Did you hear that? No.
No. Ugh. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you think is Dennis DeShane innocent?
Yes.
That was clear.
Yeah.
That was a really clear
I
yes.
heard it. Bunch of mumbo jumbo and a very clear yes. Well,
Is there other murders that Richard did that we don't know about?
did I just
I
hear
heard.
basement?
I don't know.
I don't.
Is there more murders that Richard's responsible for? I heard maybe.
Um, would the outcome would he have been caught if it were just her friend being abducted and not her?
Ooh. Hey, girls, would he have been caught if the friend was abducted and not Kara? No.
I don't know what that said. It sounded like it said something like two syllables.
It sounded like better, but then no came through pretty clear.
Okay. Interesting. And then he would have continued on doing what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. So, did he stalk all of his victims?
Yeah, did he stalk all of his victims? I swear they said scary and yike.
Oh, I mean, it is scary.
It is scary. I don't think he stalked all of them.
I don't think he did
I think
either.
some of these people some of them was wrong place, wrong time.
She was definitely
and then
not.
I think he did stalk some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so shitty. I don't think I have any more questions.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of details, about like his murders and stuff because again, he'd been getting away with it for so long.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing to tie him to it. So that's why this story is told the way that it is because I really truly believe had it not have been Kara, he'd still be alive today, still doing the shady shit that he did.
Facts. Yeah, I agree. And I love this story just because of the outcome and her escaping. And a lot of victims literally go the opposite direction. And she rose from this and found an outlet that's healthy and helps others as well as herself. So that's fantastic, and props to her. Props to Kara if you ever
Oh
hear
yeah,
this.
Kara Robinson is a fucking hero.
Yeah, I agree. She sounds like an amazing person. So yeah.
She is.
Well,
She
I
is.
loved
So there you
it.
go, Mom. I gave you a not asshole. There's an asshole involved, but
But a hero in the end. I love it.
a hero in the end, an asshole. Well, she wasn't an asshole in the beginning. He was just an asshole that was doomed at the very beginning.
It's fine.
Yeah, dick. All right. All right, Ash, what do they need to do?
They need to find us on most social media platforms. Give us a like and follow. And if you like to listen, find us on Spotify. If you like to watch and listen, find us on YouTube.
All right. Bye, doll babies.
Bye.